Welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Boxing Repeats YouTube channel. Delighted to be joined by Danny. We are a week or so away now from Oleksandr Usyk 2 versus Anthony Joshua. Really looking forward to it. Yeah, really close to the fight now, Danny. Just so everyone knows, this is a pay-per-view fight. In case you were not aware, in the description, in the link below, there is a link where you can purchase the pay-per-view. We'd really appreciate it if you did it via us. It helps us a lot if you do it. So yeah, if you are thinking of purchasing the fight on pay-per-view, please have a look in the description below. This video is about betting tips. Danny, I know you've got I think you've got 2 betting tips for us. We're just covering the main event. Obviously, there's lots of different markets offering lots of different ins and outs of what could happen in this fight. But yeah, really interested to see what you got for us, Danny.
Yeah, tried to pick out a couple sort of different prices. One that I think is going to be clipped up and come back to bite me, but one that I think is a bit of a banker, and then one more of a long shot at good odds, but I think it's good value. So looking forward to sharing them, hopefully with a bit of success in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like just to remind people, this is like a betting tip show. It's not a prediction show. Danny might have seen something that's 50 to 1 and think, right, that's worth putting £1 on. Doesn't mean he necessarily thinks it's going to happen. It's just it's all of this show. It's all about value. It's obviously it comes into play what we think might happen, but it's about looking at the best odds and saying, right, I fancy a bit of that. So yeah, without further ado, Danny, yeah, give us your first betting tip for Usyk versus Joshua 2.
So the first one I've gone for is it's available with, I think, Ladbrokes and Coral at even money, and it's the fight not to go the distance. I think that's a brilliant price. I think we're all sort of expecting Anthony Joshua to come in with a more aggressive game plan. Obviously, got the new training set up, and I think just if he does that, which I mean, it would be a massive surprise if he wasn't at least slightly more aggressive in the rematch. If he does that, then I don't see whatever way the fight goes that it can go the distance. He was about 30 seconds away from getting stopped at the most at the end of that first fight. And that was him boxing well within himself. And to be honest, at the end, just looking to see the 12 rounds out, he celebrated when he made the 12th round. So I think, and it was down to fatigue. I mean, he's not completely pillow-fisted, but he's not a concussive puncher. It wasn't really the punches. Even Usyk was landing clean in that last round, but it was the tiredness and the fatigue that I think was causing AJ to look close to getting stopped. So I think if he goes in more aggressively and can't get Usyk out of there, then he'll get stopped himself, and probably not even that far down the stretch, probably mid to late rounds. But on the other hand, I think his only way to go is that approach. I don't think AJ wins this fight on points. I think if he's to win, he has to stop Usyk within 7-8 rounds at the most. So I just think, provided we do see this more aggressive AJ that we're all expecting to under this new training setup, that I can't see how the fight goes the distance. And for that reason, I think even money is a brilliant price on that, as I say, with Ladbrokes and Coral, I think.
So even money for the fight not to go the distance, just to confirm, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I think a lot of people would suggest that the only way Joshua can win this fight is by stoppage. And adding that to the fact that Usyk nearly stopped Joshua, and Usyk, he might want to actually do it this time just to kind of make that statement to the division by actually stopping Anthony Joshua, and that way he's kind of beaten him twice, both in different ways as well. So yeah, not against that. Obviously, it's only evens, but I think that's a really good shout, mate. And yeah, without wasting any more time, what is your second tip for us?
Now, this one is probably going to be the one that gets a bit of flack. So I'm just going to put a disclaimer in that I'm not saying that I think Anthony Joshua will definitely win the fight here. As you said in the introduction, it's all about value. And I think if you're looking at either fighter, all the values with Anthony Joshua in this fight. I think in the winning markets, 4 to 9 on Usyk's very short. You can get even shorter than that. So the sort of bigger price one that I've gone for is Anthony Joshua to win in sort of the early to mid rounds, so 5 to 8, and you can get that at almost 9 to 1, 17 to 2 with the likes of Betfair, Paddy Power. The reason I've gone 5 to 8 as opposed to really early, like 1 to 4 or something, is I don't think you'll see AJ just go in there and try and the way Derek Chisora did in those first 3 rounds and just go completely hell for leather. It will be educated. He will maybe almost try and do a bit of what Usyk does himself, where it's that you're making the other fighter work without necessarily throwing the kitchen sink at him, sort of foot pressure, sort of feints, stuff like that. I think that's more likely what you're to see from AJ. And as we discussed earlier over that lovely coffee, I think early body work will be the key here. If you go in there just swinging, trying to take Usyk's head off, he'll pick you apart. So I think there's a chance you'll see AJ first maybe 1 or 2 rounds slightly more aggressive than the first fight, and then as you go into 3, 4, 5, that's when I think that's when his chance to win the fight is. And I think purely from a value perspective, I think Usyk does go into the fight as a favorite, just maybe not necessarily as big a favorite as the bookmakers would suggest. So, and you have to have a punt to win some serious money. I mean, I think that earlier bet's obviously got a much better chance to win him, but I mean, who's going to put like a tenner on it, even money? You want to try and win some money. So I think that 17-2, I think you can get 9-1 in places, is a good value bet. So that'll be my second tip, is Anthony Joshua rounds 5-8. As I say, 17-2, 9-1.
Yeah, sounds good to me, mate. I think one point I would add to that is that Joshua, if you look at his wins, I think it's the vast majority of his wins have come from KO. I think it's obviously Ruiz 2 and Parker, the only guys he hasn't stopped, who he's won against. I think that it feels to me that Joshua, he's not kind of wiped someone out in 2, 3, 4 rounds for a long time, and maybe that's due to like going up in opposition as he's developed in his career. And obviously, it just feels like since the Charles Martin fight, which was a long time ago now, I know that was 2 rounds. Klitschko stopped late, Takam stopped late, Brazil I think was round 7, Pulev was round 9, maybe round 10. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not against that. I just feel like if Joshua is going to win this fight by stoppage, I would agree with you. I feel like rounds 9 to 12 would be too late for him to do that. I feel like Usyk will just be in his rhythm too much by then if the fight does go that way. And yeah, rounds 1 to 4, he's not done that for a long time. So I'm not against these tips at all, Dan. You're making me consider a couple of things. Thank you for those. I've got a couple of questions. Just going to put you on the spot. For some weird reason, I'm always in when a big fight comes around with the bookies. You can bet on knockdowns, and it's something I've actually been quite successful with. If you don't mind me saying, I was successful with Canelo Bivol. Put money on 0 knockdowns, and as well as Chisora Pulev. It was fairly easy money both times, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, how many knockdowns? I know it's a tough question, and I know it's a bit like rolling a dice. How many knockdowns will we see on August 20th?
So I've not bet on this market that much, but I think it's usually like you can bet on 0, 1, or like more than 1 or something. I think you're more than likely to see more than 1 knockdown in this fight, again, regardless of which way it goes. Like when AJ stops people, like you look at Povetkin, even Charles Martin, they do get up once. Usually, it's very. I think when was the last time he like one punch someone? That I could be making a fool of myself here, but was it as long ago as Rafael Zambano?
That's
even
that's the one I was thinking. Yeah.
So, and again, as we were saying, Usyk's not. I think AJ like he got up 3 or 4 times against Ruiz. I think AJ's heart gets questioned quite unfairly. I don't think it's his heart that lets him down. He got up, as I say, multiple times against Ruiz. So. Obviously against Klitschko as well. So I think you'll see more than 1 knockdown, potentially 2, 3, maybe at a push. I think more than that, you're looking into sort of like fight of the year, fight of the century territory. I'm not sure what the odds would be on that, if it'd be worth betting on, but I would say you're looking at least 2 knockdowns in this fight, regardless of what way it goes.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff, mate. I think just to roll off some odds to you, there to be 2 knockdowns exactly is 11-4. There to be over 1.5 knockdowns is 6-4, which is maybe a bit disappointing. Maybe I don't think those are amazing odds. If you fancy your luck, there to be over 2.5 knockdowns is 10-3. So if it's a bit of a knockdown festival, maybe if you fancy that, that's worth putting money on. Over 2.5 knockdowns is 10-3. Final question from me, Dan. Maybe the final question from me is. Couple of weeks out from the fight, what is your prediction? What do you think is going to happen? In a nutshell, in 30 seconds, what's going to happen?
Jesus, I haven't even decided this in my own head. Right,
it's a tricky one, isn't it? A lot of people don't have it yet.
This is so contradictory.
/ if you had to put money down now, where would you lean towards? Would you put money on Joshua KO? Would you put money on Usyk points? What are your thoughts?
Right, I think the most likely outcome is probably that Usyk stops him, but not by I don't think the odds are accurate as to how likely it is or how unlikely it is, if you get what I'm saying. If we weren't looking for value and my life depended on me getting the outcome of this fight right, I would lean towards Usyk probably stopping AJ. Which completely contradicts my bet earlier. But as we said at the start, we're looking for value here. But, you know, gun to my head, I'm going Usyk probably does stop him this time.
Sounds good. And final question. If I gave you a free bet, £10, what round are you putting it on for Usyk to stop Anthony Joshua? This is your chance to look like a genius if it comes true.
Oh, Jesus. We need something. 9. I'll go 9. Okay. After my 5 to 8 bet just falls short, Usyk will stop him in round 9.
Round 9. So round 9, what I'm seeing on Sky Bet is 20-1 for Usyk to win in round 9. So worth.
Sounds good to me.
Pretty obvious what a tenner returns. Danny, thank you for answering all those questions. Yeah, appreciate your knowledge, appreciate your tips. Interested to see what you're doing. Please comment on below with what you're betting on. If you are betting, you don't have to gamble, of course. And yeah, that's it really. But looking forward to even more. Looking forward to seeing what people are saying on fight week and on fight nights. And yeah, Danny, thank you for joining me. And yeah, we'll definitely speak to you again soon.